It was a quiet Friday night, the kind of night where the world feels unnervingly still, as though holding its breath. I had just moved into a cabin at the edge of the woods, a place I hoped would offer peace and solitude. The stars were unusually bright, the air crisp with a faint scent of pine. Everything seemed perfect, until the knock came. It was soft at first, a hesitant tap-tap-tap on the front door. I froze. Who would come this far into the woods at this hour? My nearest neighbor was over 2 miles away, and the cabin wasn't visible from the main road. The knocking came again, louder this time. Reluctantly, I got up, creeping unease settling in my chest. I approached the door and peered through the peephole. 2 children stood on the porch, a boy and a girl, no older than 10. They were dressed oddly, like they had stepped out of a 1950s family portrait. Pale, old-fashioned clothes that seemed almost too clean, too crisp.
Can we come in?
The girl asked. Her voice was monotone, cold, devoid of the sweetness you'd expect from a child. It's late, I replied, my voice trembling slightly. Where are your parents?
They're coming. They're coming. They're coming.
The boy answered. His gaze bore into me through the peephole. Even though I hadn't opened the door, something wasn't right. I could feel it. Their skin was too pale, their movements too still. And then I saw it. Their eyes, deep, endless pools of black, void of whites or pupils. They weren't eyes. They were abysses.
Let us in. Let us in.
The girl said again, more forcefully this time. Every instinct in my body screamed no, but I couldn't move, as though their words had paralyzed me. I backed away from the door, my heartbeat thundering in my ears.
We can't come in unless you invite us.
The boy whispered. His voice, now so low it was almost a growl, seemed to echo in my mind. I turned off the lights, hoping they'd think I wasn't home. But when I glanced out the window, they were still there, staring up at me through the glass. How had they moved so quickly?
We're hungry,
The girl murmured. I fumbled for my phone, desperate to call for help, but there was no signal. The cabin, isolated as it was, had always had spotty reception. But this was different. No bars, no connection, as if the air itself had been swallowed by a void. Then came the scratching. Nails dragging across the wooden door, slow and deliberate. The sound crawled up my spine. We can't leave until you let us in, the boy said, his voice eerily calm. Suddenly the lights flickered. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and elongating into shapes that shouldn't have been possible. I grabbed a fireplace poker and backed into the corner of the room, my eyes fixed on the door. The scratching stopped. Silence. For a moment, I thought they were gone. Then, a single knock echoed through the cabin, louder than before. We'll be back, the girl said. The pressure in the room lifted, and the air felt breathable again. I waited for what felt like hours before daring to open the door. They were gone, but on the porch, scratched into the wood, were 2 words. See you. I haven't stayed in that cabin since, but sometimes, on quiet nights, I hear a faint tap, tap, tap at my window, and I know they haven't forgotten me.